So I thought I would just start out by giving you guys a little tour of the building. No one is here right now, and we have not used our building for church services since early March of last year. So for some of you, this is a place that's very familiar to you and very sacred and very important. And this will be a chance for you to get to see the building, which you have not been in for quite some time. And for those who are just joining us or who have never been to our physical building before, this will give you a chance to see this building, which is a really important part of our ministry. A place that's historic, that's been a part of this community a long time, and it's the oldest church in La Jolla. This building is over 100 years old. The congregation was the first to be planted in this community. It's significant not only in the history of our faith, but in the history of Protestantism in California in general. So I hope you'll enjoy this chance to see this building, which is so important and sacred to all of us. Perhaps one of the most amazing things about my church is its location. We're located in La Jolla, which is a neighborhood of San Diego, one of Southern California's most beautiful cities. La Jolla is home to the University of California at San Diego, the Salk Institute, Scripps Aquarium, one of the top research institutes in oceanography, as well as miles upon miles of beautiful beaches and coastline. One of the things incredibly unique about my congregation is that we have an industrial kitchen, and we rent this out to a variety of startups and catering companies, people who are looking for a space to begin their business and who need a space that is well priced and in their budget. And so my church has made this investment not only as an extra source of income, but also to really do ministry in helping people in this community who are starting a business, who are looking to begin a new venture and who need a industrial level kitchen for that. And several of our renters are immigrant businesses, first-generation American businesses, and so that's something that we are incredibly proud of. Aside from our industrial kitchen, you can't have a California church without an outdoor space. Our patio is where we have staff meetings, where in pre-pandemic times, Alcoholics Anonymous would meet. It's a perfect place for receptions and for gatherings of church family. So I want to give you guys a little bit of background about why I wanted to start a YouTube channel. This pandemic has pushed all clergy to be creative and to try totally new things. And when the pandemic hit last March, I had no idea how long this would last. But I am grateful that this has given me an opportunity to really try something that I otherwise wouldn't have had time to do. We've been doing our worship in the Congregational Church of La Jolla solely through email for the past 8 months, but I wanted to do something that was more interactive, something where you could see me, where perhaps you could get to know me on a level different from what you might on a Sunday at church when I'm in the pulpit and you're in the pews. but also I thought this is an opportunity to really expand our audience. At what point will we have an opportunity again to be able to widen our congregation geographically, demographically? And I think that YouTube offers us a really important opportunity and a really important tool to be able to communicate with people that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. And there's also something else that's really important and critical about this, and that's the kind of church that we are here. We are a church that is open and affirming. We believe that Black Lives Matter. We have signs on our front of our building that proclaim both of these facts, and that we don't just believe in putting out the signs. We believe in actually doing the hard work that it takes to be anti-racist and to be totally inclusive of all people. And that's really at the heart of what it means to be a member of the United Church of Christ, which is our denomination. And in a future video, I plan on giving a little bit more information about what that is and a little bit of history. Maybe you don't know what the United Church of Christ is, or you've heard of it and you're not sure. But inclusivity is really at the heart of who we are and what we do. So I just wanted to also introduce myself so that you could get to know me a little bit. Most of you will have known me who have attended this church, but there might be others of you out there who have been getting our emails or have been connected to the church in the community and maybe haven't had a chance to get to know me yet. So as I said in the intro, my name is Reverend Tim Siri. I am 28 years old, and that makes me quite millennial. And I have been the pastor of this church for the past 3 years. I attended Harvard for undergrad, where I earned a degree in comparative religion, and then I went right from there to divinity school, where I earned my Master of Divinity from Harvard Divinity School. And after that, I was ordained in my denomination, the United Church of Christ, and I set about looking for a church. And I had always known in school that I had wanted to pursue ministry in the parish. That's where I fell in love with church, and that's where I felt that my gifts were most suited for. And so I entered what we call the search and call process and interviewed with several churches and got to meet different congregations and ultimately decided to come here, and I'm very, very glad that I did. This is a wonderful community. It's a beautiful building, but it's an even more beautiful congregation. And even though we haven't been able to be in our building, we have still remained strong as a congregation, and we still fellowship together, but on Zoom. And we just had a wonderful Christmas Eve service also on Zoom. And this YouTube ministry will be yet again another chapter in the ways in which this church always transforms and always changes and always does a new thing. And I'm very, very proud of this congregation for always being willing to take a step forward and do something new and bold. And I think that it really is a testament to the sort of people who call this church home. So in my time as the minister of this church, one of my focuses has been to expand our outreach, to communicate our progressive values to the wider community, as well as to promote interfaith dialogue and understanding. We visited several faith communities of other religions. We visited a mosque. We have a relationship with a conservative Jewish temple. And we visited a Buddhist temple. And living in a metropolitan area really is a blessing because it allows us to have access to so much in the way of religious diversity and religious pluralism. And so I'm very, very grateful that we've had the opportunity to do those things. Why did I become a pastor, and what encouraged me to spend so many years of my life studying religion academically? And this is a question that I get a lot, and I feel like I have a meandering answer every time I'm asked. And really, though, it begins, I think, with the fact that I am a child of 9/11. I remember 9/11 very clearly as one of my first very poignant memories. I was in 3rd grade at the time, and I remember how that changed our national conversation on religion. It led to a lot of religious misunderstandings, a lot of prejudice. It led to a catastrophic war. And I was interested in the way that religious fundamentalism in particular was this thing that could really tear apart communities and take religion, which is something that is beautiful and good and holy, and could turn it into a tool of evil as a weapon. And this is something that has examples in so many different religions. There are too many examples of Christians using their Christianity as a weapon against other people. And I knew that religion was too good and too beautiful to let fundamentalism run away with it. And so I was very interested in the ways that progressive religion and progressive faith, and in particular Christianity, could be used to change people's lives, could be used to transform communities. I learned in my own church of my youth the way in which Jesus was a radical visionary and a change maker, and somebody who exhibited the values of justice and compassion. And I also loved the way that the church could walk with people and counsel people, and the way that a pastor really gets to advocate for people to get to know them in their greatest sorrows and in their greatest joys. And for me, there is nothing more sacred than being invited into people's journey and being able to walk with them and celebrate with them and hear about their joys and their struggles, their anxieties. And I was also very proud of the faith in which that I grew up in, which is the United Church of Christ. And we were always the church of firsts. We were the first church to affirm the dignity of transgender people, the first church to proclaim marriage equality. We were the first church to ordain LGBT people, and the list goes on and on and on. And to be a part of a group of people that challenge you to always grow and to always move forward and to always move towards greater equality is, in my opinion, an incredible blessing. I hope that you'll take the opportunity to subscribe, and also in the description box down below you will find the URL for my church's website. You will also find my personal website, www.timsiri.org. I invite you to take a look at that and check that out. And make sure you subscribe so that you get updates from us whenever we post a new video. Our goal will be to do this weekly. You can also email me and ask to get on our mailing list, and in that you will be included on some of the sacred music that our music director puts together every week. And we also have a vocal soloist who is incredibly talented, and we are blessed at this church to have such a rich music program. So if you want to find out any more about that, please email me. We also have our PayPal link in the description box because we are a nonprofit, and we survive on the generosity of our members as well as those who have come before us, who have stewarded their resources and the resources of this church responsibly, so that we are able to continue to provide La Jolla with an affirming and progressive voice of faith. All right, everyone, I really enjoyed this chance to take you around the church, to give those of you who've never been before a little bit of an introduction to it, and also just to chat a little bit in my office. So I've got to run, but I hope you'll join us here next week, and I hope that you'll comment with some ideas of what you would like to hear from me, or what you would like to see. Also, make sure you subscribe. Also, my personal website and the church website are in the description box. So take some time to get to know me better, get to know this church, and to get to know our online presence a little bit, which will be an important part of how we do things in 2021. See you next week.